everybody, I'm Liz Licking. I am a senior at Otterbein University. I'm a major in environmental science and in women's gender and sexuality studies. And I'm the president of our LGBTQIA Alliance, Zone.
Hi, my name is Erin Grubaugh. I'm a sophomore at Ohio State. I'm a double major in political science and sexuality studies. I'm a member of our Queers and Allies Club, and I'm a mentor for the LGBTQ first-year cohort.
Hi, my name is Lee Julian, and I'm third year of the Ohio State University. I'm majoring in communication and minoring in fashion retail studies. I'm the mentor of Queers and Allies.
All right, my name is Ethan Axe. I'm a sophomore at Ohio State, majoring in business with a specialization in information systems. And I am a mentor for the LGBTQ first-year cohorts at Ohio State, as well as the secretary of the Gender Inclusive Fraternity Pi Alpha Kappa.
Hello, my name is Gustavo Carlos. I'm a third-year psychology and sexuality studies major here at the Ohio State University. I am also a mentor for the first-year LGBTQ cohort, and I also work for the Office of Diversity and Inclusion.
Hi, my name is Kayla Pataya. I am a senior at Denison University. I am a sociology and anthropology major, and I have a chemistry minor. And I am the vice president of Outlook, which is our LGBT GSA campus.
My name is Ashton Colby. I'm a freshman at Columbus State, and I'm a member of the Cougar Pride LGBT group, and I study in business.
I'm Stuart Culbertson. I'm an animation major. I don't really know what year I am because I transferred, so it's kind of always up in the air. I don't really have a title in the GSSA community, but I'm one of the other people. They always turn to me whenever they have like events, and I always help out. So.
Between a 7 and an 8, just because depending on where you are and what program you're in campus, things can be very different. We have strong queer communities and acceptance within our arts, music, theater, and English departments, and now our women's gender and sexuality studies department. But other majors can feel more isolated, and they have to work pretty hard to meet the communities, and they end up making friends in these other majors. To do so, they come to some free zone meetings. So science departments feel very isolated. I can speak to that from experience. Sports are very don't ask, don't tell on our campus. I only know one out athlete on campus. There are probably others, the only ones I personally know. Some of the other science and math departments. So where you are on campus makes a difference. You've got a lot of people who are coming into Otterbein having never been exposed to any kind of diversity, and they end up in certain types of programs typically. And if you're in that program and you're queer, it might be, you're going to work a little bit harder to find your community. That said, when you find it, it's very, very accepting and safe at my school, I would say.
I would give us, I don't know, maybe like an 8, an 8.5. I feel like we're very accepting. I think we have something like 10 LGBTQ kind of identified student organizations. I would say the only negative that I really have experienced is these lovely preachers who are not associated with the university like to come here and talk about how much God hates gay people. But as far as the student body goes, I feel like things are overall very accepting. As far as I know, I don't think anyone's been attacked here because of their sexuality, or that there's been any kind of really strong discrimination. So,
I think I'll give it to 9, not up to 9, because except the things happen now, almost everybody's like against it. But I still know a lot of people are exploring the LGBT community. And on the other hand, the only thing I know that we don't offer actually LGBT housing. That's the only thing that we think we don't have. And we have more than 15, I think, LGBT organizations. And we also offer activities and all kind of stuff, which like include the sports, like major and everything. So it's pretty cool. So as to me, I would give it 9 because of this.
Yeah, I give Ohio State like a solid 8. I think just because it is a big campus with lots of diversity, people from all over the world and all over the nation. And I think because it's so big and there's so many different people, it's really hard for like hardcore discrimination to sort of like occur. And on campus as well, I know working in Res Life, like the Res Life staff are really, really big on inclusion. So just the campus itself, like by nature, is really diverse. And even Columbus, like a city, since obviously we're right next to Columbus, it's like, I think, besides Chicago, it's like the most gay-friendly city in the Midwest. So there's like, it's just a lot of diversity and inclusion. And so, yeah, I'd say this campus is pretty accepting.
I'd say Ohio State is, with me, it's between a 7 and an 8. Fluctuates between the two depending on the circumstances, because Ohio State is, they are trying to make, I feel they can do a lot better in making the community, the queer community visible. Like in doing some orientation material, they did, well, when I came to orientation my first year, there were queer people in the presentations and stuff. And I've worked orientation these past 2 summers, and those people are now gone from the presentations. So it really fluctuates depending on what's going on. We do have a lot of the Office of Diversity and Inclusion is working on appealing to the queer community. The NCC does a lot of great work, but I feel we can do better.
I would put Denison somewhere between an 8 and a 9. I would say Greek life is probably the most socially isolating circumstance for the LGBT community, but again, that would vacillate between the different sororities and fraternities because each one has its own identity. Academically, I don't think there's any stratification between the different types of departments. One of my favorite things about the LGBT community on Denison's campus is the idea that organizations beyond just the strict LGBT community are very inclusive. I know lots of out athletes, I know lots of people who don't feel the need to come to Outlook meetings because they're accepted elsewhere on campus and they don't need this safe space once a week. They actually find a safe space in their everyday lives. So I would say that there's still room for improvement administratively as well as in maybe some of the visibility for the LGBT community, but as a whole, I would say Denison is very exciting.
At Columbus State, I would probably say between an 8, 8.5. I found in the classroom setting, it's very open, and I've never had any teachers or definitely like a learning environment be negative or any kind of discrimination. We had had a problem with visibility on campus and maybe tearing down posters and things like that that bring awareness to the LGBT group on campus, but that's more of a a student issue just from a visibility standpoint, not a teacher accepting or in the classroom.
Probably, I would say an 8 or 9 for CCAD. It is a very small school. There's only like 1,000 or so of us. So it's a really tight-knit community. It's an average number of gay, percentage of people, but everyone's accepting because we see everyone all day, every day. If you have class on one side of campus, you're only a block away from the other side. So, but everyone's fairly open. Everyone's okay and accepting. There have been 2 instances that I know of in general that were not very gay friendly, but that was like one person's point of view, and imposing it on somebody else. But that was only like one instance, and then another one was just like in general, people, freshmen coming in, not really comprehending, I guess, and not really sure how to accept the gay community. But it's definitely a lot better than where I'm from, which is Virginia, and Liberty University is known for its awfulness.
Does it get better in college?
So yes, I would say I transferred but they just seem to be less out in certain programs for whatever reason. But it does get better. Otterbein opened up of a community compared to the school I was at before for me. Had enough visibility that it was safe for me to come out, start being active, and find my community, my friends, and really, like, my community at Otterbein is my family. So it does get better, I think.
Yeah, I would say it definitely gets better. In high school, I wasn't very out, and even when I was, I've never really talked about it. But here at Ohio State, like, I'm completely out, I'm completely open, and no one really cares. So that's always refreshing. And another great thing about Ohio State, since it's such a big school, if you do run into someone who's homophobic, literally you can never see them again. Like, you can be like, okay, bye, and you just don't have to deal with them anymore. So, yeah, as I was kind of saying in my last one, sometimes there's preachers, but even then you can avoid them. So really, it gets better because once you're in college, especially a bigger school, you can just avoid those people who you don't want to associate with.
I'm transferred from China the last year, and before I didn't really talk about my sexual orientation, and because now it's really has a wide setting range there. So when I chose the school, I didn't look at that whether it's a gay-friendly school, and I was just oh, OSU accepted me, then I'll go. And when I got here, people told me, don't you know OSU is a very gay-friendly school? I said, really? And yes, it is very gay-friendly. There's an experience in it. So my school didn't really talk about it. Didn't have any organization to help out any student, which I think pretty bad because I know a lot of gay people go to school, live in the dorm, acting like straight people. So I know they how miserable they are. So, but I'm kind of open person. I told my roommate when I was in freshman year in China, and they freaked out actually at first. But some of them came to me the very last month of the semester when I was about to come here, and they said, actually it was you who changed my perception of gay people. So I said, cool. So then I got here, it's I'm kind of open to everything because I'm pretty free here to come out and talk, share a story.
Yeah, I do think it really does get better in college. Just what Ari said, especially for how big this campus is. If you compare to something like high school, where you see the same people every day in the same classes, you can walk down the hallway and see the same people walk by you every single day. So that's why there's sort of a lot of gossip in high school, and people just want to talk about other people so that other people don't talk about them. And so anything different about you really gets picked apart. But at Ohio State, like Ari said, there are some people you'll never see again for the rest of your life if you pass them on the oval. So people just aren't in that confined space anymore, and they don't feel like they need to bring themselves up by putting others down. And so it feels a lot more refreshing. You have a lot more space to be you at a university, and you can just be a more open person in general.
I've loved my experiences here at OSU. I feel like my queer experience began at Ohio State. I was out in high school, but nothing came of it. Here at Ohio State, I met my first boyfriend, who's now my best friend, and I think it's a really friendly environment. There is programming available that reaches out to the queer community and says, we want queer people to come and talk to each other and meet each other and make friends. And we also, there's a lot of discussions about skill building, how to talk to other people who aren't like you, and then a lot of diversity, so you get the cultural diversity aspect of it as well. But there's just so many different kinds of people here, and so many different things happening. It's really friendly, and I think it's really difficult to have a bigoted mindset at a university like this where it's so huge and you have to work with people from so many different backgrounds.
Going from OSU to the campus of 2,200 students. Denison is smaller than my high school. I graduated in a class of 1,000 in Texas, inner city school in Texas. So we had a very different high school experience. I was out to my friends, but I wasn't out. I was outed to the rest of my high school, which was hard. So coming into college, I was really hesitant to come to a small community. Denison has blown me away though. I have never felt uncomfortable on Denison's campus. I openly walk around holding hands with my girlfriend on campus. We actually were voted like one of the cutest couples on campus, so because we're adorable. But I think that college really provides you an opportunity to grow. Provides everybody with an opportunity to grow, both inside the classroom and out. So you see a lot of people who for the first time are able to take courses and explore things that they're interested in that doesn't fit to this strict high school curriculum that you often find. So as people's world perspectives are changing, I think that the way that they view the world changes as well. And that's really reflected in the way that they encounter diversity and of any type. And I'd like to think that it's probably true on most campuses. I know it's definitely true on Denison's campus. And to some extent, if you found somebody homophobic, you could probably avoid them. It wouldn't be as easy. But I would say that Denison is a really great place, and it does get better at Denison. In my experience, I've really grown. There's been lots of programming opportunities, lots of leadership opportunities for me to capitalize on as my entire self, not just parts of myself.
At Columbus State, I found it's very accepting. I'm female to male transgender, so I hadn't changed my name legally yet, and so I had a lot of apprehension going into a new school and how would teachers, would they use the right pronouns or would they use the right name or what have you, and so I emailed them all beforehand explaining my situation, and I've gotten overwhelmingly positive support. No one has been, I've not had a single instant where I literally haven't had any negative experience, and I have to be honest, I was very, very worried going into college, and I wasn't out at my previous college and actually transferred to Columbus State to just kind of start over because I didn't know how to approach the transition process, but the teachers have been overwhelmingly supportive, and I feel like if there ever in a classroom setting was negativity from other students, there's a lot more students that would support me and back me up, and even a teacher would call out a student for being inappropriate. And on campus, outside of the classroom, really haven't had any problems. I think it's pretty open and understanding.
For me, I've gone to 3 different colleges. I went to a community college, I went to Virginia Tech for a semester, and then I came to CCAD. I can tell you from the Virginia standpoint, Liberty is quite a scary place. Most of Southwest Virginia is very conservative, so it's not exactly accepting. Virginia Tech has a really good LGBT community and plenty of resources. And I was kind of glad to come back to Columbus when I did. There are many, many issues. If you have heard in the news, there was a guy that had his car vandalized and had $10,000 worth of damage done to his car. And that happened not too recently, but fairly recently. That sort of hatred happens a lot around that whole area. So I was glad to be back in a very gay-friendly community, and I definitely love Columbus.